Evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Monday Assessment by the View from the Medway Fancast in partnership with the Gillingham FC Supporters Club. Well, John Coleman had his first game in charge on Saturday. Was there much change? Not really. Were there positives? Minuscule. So we are going to get into it this evening. And I am joined this evening by Stu Lewis, Mr. Bradley Walsh, and Don Ballard. So how are we, boys? Okay?
All good.
Happy birthday, Kris.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, mate. Thanks, yeah.
50 a day. Well done, mate.
50 today, yeah. Feel like it with the kids that I've got.
Your beard looks like it.
Getting there. So, boys, we will just move straight on to the Views news, I guess, if you fancy it. And we will get on straight to injuries to Andrews and Wiley, Hutton and Nolan's form, Kumbenny and what he will bring, and where do we go from here? So I will start with you, Stu, and the injuries to Andrews and Wiley, mate.
Okay, so Andrews, total sick note from day one. Let's just pay him off and be done with it for me. Wiley, we haven't really had a chance to see much of him, have we? So, again, it's a tricky one. I think, do we hear 6 weeks? So you could probably add another 4 weeks to that. So that would probably be 10 weeks. I think we all know what we need to do this week. And we need to get in, at least one, if not 2 strikers.
Yeah, I've had this on X today, and Dom, I'm not sure. Like, I've heard names from Sutton. I'm not really a fan of like the pressure that we're under at the moment. And to be fair, in my eyes, if we get negative results against Tranmere and Notts County, we're in a scrap. Not to go up, we're in a scrap to go down. So, do you really think, mate, that getting National League strikers in is a good thing?
I just don't really know what else we can attract, to be honest with you. If I was a player looking at coming here, you've got a manager you don't know that's going to be here in 6 months' time. Is he signing him or is the recruitment signing him? You don't know. I think whoever we do get in, it'll be a loan from whatever team. Who knows? But I think, I don't think we're looking long term for the January signings. It's literally a short term fix to try and just make sure we don't get sucked in down the bottom. And people need a reality check of we're not looking up, we are definitely looking below us. And that is a fact.
Yeah, Warren, I think it's kind of difficult when you're 16th in the league. Where do we look for players, mate? And do you think that we can? I said earlier about maybe one of the Tottenham strikers that's been recalled. He was on loan at Oxford. Do you think that maybe that could be a solution?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get Dane Scarlet, to be honest, at our level and in the position that we're in. If we was challenging for promotion, maybe, but I don't think we're getting in a position that we're in. Players-wise, we're either going to splash out and look to the future, right? Of which case you've got to try and make Coleman the future. Or we've got to get a loan from someone higher up, someone that's either untried at league level as a loan player from Premier or Championship club, or we've got to get a player from League One on the cheap, hopefully.
Yeah.
But January, the club's constantly over the last 2 years thrown money at shit. I'd rather us just get a loan, pay the guy for 6 months, and hope that they come good. To be honest, we're in such a mess with recruitment, with injuries this season. They've been horrendous, and they don't seem to be clearing up. The fact that Dak still can't even make the first team, he can't make 90 minutes yet, is quite upsetting, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because we was all told January would be fit, ready to go. we've just had a fortnight off, and he still couldn't make the starting lineup.
Yeah. Well, and
I don't know what's going on at the club. I really don't. I don't know what direction recruitment's going in. I don't know who's having the final say, but we keep blaming managers. Maybe the football club should tell us what the process is.
Yeah. I think it's quite telling as well on Saturday when you've got people turning around and saying, like, it's the players again. So does that necessarily, Stu, does that then fall on Bonner, or is there a divide there where it's potentially maybe 40% Bonner, 60% the players?
There's probably 5 or 6 players at the club I would think that are likely to be a problem. I don't want to mention names, but, I think one is fairly obvious. And he was called out a few weeks ago. And, Bonner, I mean, let's be honest. For me, like Warren, been around a long time, that episode under Bonner was horrendous. I know people try to stick up for him a bit, but I can't think, apart from probably Pennock, in recent years, I can't think of anything as bad. It was a dreadful episode. I mean, I was really happy when John Coleman come in. And
Bonner reminded me of Neil Cooper.
God rest his soul.
Yeah, God rest his soul. But he just reminded me of Neil Cooper. Came in, didn't have much of a clue. Signed players.
Yeah.
They didn't make a difference.
Yeah.
So I fully appreciate that we're quite upset about things. So we will just keep on subjects with Andrews and Wiley. So Andrews was brought in last January. He was injured when we brought him in, and I do believe, and I was on the Donny podcast on Friday. They said that they had him on loan as well, and he had growing pains or whatever it was. So. Do you think that it's about time we cut our losses with him, Warren, or do you think that we should persevere?
Well, we've got to persevere. You can't pay him off. He's on too much money.
Mm.
If you pay him off, that completely ruins your budget for 2 players for next season.
Yeah, possibly. And then, Dom, I suppose we talk about Wiley, mate. I quite liked him when he came into the squad. He looked like he was giving all he could. He was always running, always trying. I think against Tranmere, he made the difference, mate, really, didn't he? Putting like 2 goals together. So do you think that we should persevere with Wiley as well?
Yeah, I don't see why not. He's not going to be on mega money, is he? So I think he's been a little bit unfortunate, really. He has done quite well when he's played. Oh yeah, fair enough. He hasn't scored goals, but commitment-wise, contribution-wise, like in terms of, like you said, the assist against Tranmere, he was actually doing all right in comparison to the other people on the front line. He's probably done more than a lot have, really. I think he's just unfortunate. There's no point like criticising him, to be honest. He's another one. As Warren said about Andrews, as much as it's frustrating, it's probably pissing a lot of people off. We're not going to pay him off. We ain't. That's just fact. We're not going to pay him off. We just got to hope that somehow he can get through this next injury and come back hopefully better. And if he doesn't, then say in like 6 months, 9 months time, if it's still the same issue, then you have to reevaluate it again.
Yeah, of course. So, boys, we will move on quickly to Hutton and Nolan's form. I've gone on record to say that I thought that Nolan was better on Saturday, and he actually looked like he wanted to be there. Hutton, for me, doesn't look like anything like a football player at the moment. So, Stu, what do you think the problem is there?
Yeah, I don't know with Hutton. There's something not right about him. He looks all over the place. He was dreadful on Saturday, which is a shame because we have seen him in spells where he's been really good, and there's something fundamentally missing there. Very odd, very odd indeed. Nolan, he's back with his mate, isn't he? I think we'll see him come good now.
Yeah, I hope so because I've criticised him a lot in recent months, and I didn't want to. It was more a case of disappointed in the way that he started for us and stuff like that. So I'm hoping he does come right. But yeah, so Dom, we'll go with you, mate. What do you think of Hutton and Nolan's form in general, really?
I'm in agreement with you guys that Nolan played a lot better and looks like he wanted to be there on Saturday. I think the first 25 minutes, some of the crosses he was putting in, that's what we wanted to see more of.
Yeah.
And why it's taken to near the end of January for him to start doing it, that's why people have been rightfully criticising him. What I would say is that we can't continue him at wing back. That's a no. Just we need to go sign a left back. We can't persist with that. And I think that just shows how much maybe Coleman rates Max Clark at the same time. But in terms of Hutton, probably one of the worst 90 minutes I've seen a player have at Gills. Even just touching the ball. I think there was one incident in the first half when it's gone out for a throw and he could have easily just touched it to keep it in play and just completely missed the ball. I just don't know what's going on with him. He's come here, good reputation, loads of assists at Swindon. Is it the fact that our front line and our midfield attacking line has been so bad, it's made him look worse because he's not had the ability to serve anyone, and it's just brought his confidence to an absolute low, and now it's just it really is affecting him now even more.
Yeah,
I'm wondering whether Swindon have sent him to us on a mission to get us relegated. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, if they win and we lose on Saturday, they're above us.
I mean, to be fair, someone said the other day they were like, it's quite telling how they were so quick to let him go, and for such a low price. But then Warren, I mean, having listened to what Dom said, I think there was about 3 or 4 occasions on Saturday where he either hit it to nowhere or let it go out of play or kicked it out of play. What is the issue with Hutton?
I think there's a problem within the dressing room. I think there's quite a severe problem. I was told last week by somebody from within the club, and I don't want to witch hunt for him, so I won't tell you from where. But they said after the Barrow game, there was a big fight in the dressing room. That has carried on from the Barrow game, where there's been a lot of fights in the dressing room. They don't particularly like going anywhere near the first team players because of the toxic atmosphere. I don't think Bonner got to the bottom of it and sorted it out. Maybe that was inexperience. Because at Cambridge he knew all the players, whereas this lot he didn't really know. Maybe Hutton and Nolan's form is part and parcel of that. Maybe it's with Hutton, does he really care anymore? Does he want to be here? Probably not. But as you alluded to, Swindon were quite happy to let him go quite cheap for someone who had assists and whatever abound to his name. It's the fact that he allowed a ball to roll under his foot Saturday really cheesed me off. And same with Nolan. Nolan either did something really good or really bad. I think there was a pass in the second half from Nolan, or even the first half, where it was a simple 15, 20-yard ball out wide, and he put it 10 yards behind the player.
Yeah. I mean, we will get onto that in more depth when we get to the overview of the game. But there's something fundamentally wrong, and I've said it for months. There's something fundamentally wrong within this squad. What that is, I don't know, but I don't like it. So we're moving on to. I will get his name right eventually. I was on that podcast. I was on the Donny podcast on Friday, and I couldn't pronounce it for anything. So, Kumbeni. There we go. And what will he bring to the Gills? Because obviously he was on loan earlier on in the season with Accrington. He left Accrington to come to us. Bolton player. I've heard a lot of things. My mum's partner is a Bolton fan, and he was gutted that they'd sold him. So yeah, Warren, I'll start with you, mate. What do you think he will bring?
Well, hopefully, let's pray to the Lord and sing Kumbaya, and let's bring a bit of steel and a bit of fortitude to this side. He ain't going to do it on his own. I think it could be the start of a long list of signings. I've said all along, we need to sign a few tough guys, right, to get out of this division, playing nice football and playing pretty patterns and little triangles and lovely little formations that new coaches want to bring, which is the only thing that really upset me with Coleman on Saturday. I was expecting a 4-4-2, and he played this 5-3-2, 1-2, whatever it was. We've got to go right down to basics of League Two football.
Yep.
And you've either got to have the best 18 players, the best team spirit, or you've got to have a team of shit kickers to get out. Yeah. Right? You don't win no awards for playing nice football and losing every week.
Yeah. Yeah. So Stu, I mean, you probably agree with a lot of what Warren said. Do you think Benny could be a great player for us in the middle?
Could be. I think the problem is that when you get players that have been at a higher level and they come into League Two, it's very difficult to know they're going to adapt. Obviously, with Asher, I mean, he looked lively, didn't he? But it won't be long before some great lump starts, hammering him and, giving him a few slaps here and there on the pitch, and if they can deal with that, that's fine. If Kumbaya Nelson, his name is it Nelson? Nelson, yeah. If he,
for fuck's sake.
I mean, let's be honest, everyone's going to be calling him that, aren't they? Who can pronounce that?
Kumbeni.
Yeah.
Kumbeni.
Be fair, come on. If he can hack it, he could be really useful. And the fact, like Warren said, Bolton fans, gutted. That's always a good sign, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. So Tom, yeah, what do you think of Benny could bring to us? And I've seen him play a little bit. People have said, he doesn't score that many goals, but he's a combative midfielder. He's not meant to score goals as such. I kind of I always try to liken players to Premier League players, if you like. And he's kind of like an Essien type player.
Well, if he was Essien, he wouldn't be in League Two.
Well, no.
Honestly, I've never heard of the geezer until we actually announced him. Obviously, he's had a couple of loan spells in League Two, so hopefully he's got a bit of a physical feel for it. But I just think, hopefully, for our sake, he can be that man in the middle that's the one that's going to kick people and give him a little elbow here and there. Whereas, because I'm currently at the moment through the middle, we are far too easy and nice to run through. Yeah. And as Warren's alluded to so many times, and Stu will agree, you will agree, I'll agree. You need physical players in the middle of the pitch to kick 7 bills of shit out of people. And at the moment, we are a bit too nice in that department. So hopefully he can come in, settle in well, and try and be that physicality presence that we do 100% need in the middle.
Yeah, and I think that from what I've seen from him, that he is quite combative. He's quite strong on the ball, likes to move the ball forward as well, which is kind of something that certain people in our squad don't do from midfield. Ethan Coleman, but he did on Saturday, so we will see how it pans out. But I mean, where do we go from here? I think it's more of a question after we talk about the game, to be fair. So we will quickly move on to the lineups, lads, of the lineup. And we had Glenn Morris in goal. We had a back three of Shadowgi, Max Amer and Robbie McKenzie. We then had a midfield four of Jack Nolan, Amani Little, Ethan Coleman and Romeo Hutton. Then the wingers of Jaden Clark and Asher Agbanone. And then one up on his own again in Elliot Nevitt. We then had Aaron Rowe, Johnny Williams, Jake Turner, Joe Bode, Bradley Dack, Max Clark and Timmy Dieng on the bench. And I've had a little bit of, don't know how we lined up, but I feel like it was like this. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone, but I feel like it was that lineup. So, Stu, what do you think the lineup was, and how did you agree with it?
I think the fact that Asher's got the wrong colour shirt on must.
Well, yes, but I could, but the club don't actually have a physical thing of him there, so I have
obviously confused the ref, no doubt. Look, I'm with Warren. Really, I was a little bit disappointed. It was a bit of a mishmash. I wanted to see a 4-4-2. I think the problem is that John Coleman's taken the boys for a fortnight, so it was always going to be a little bit of a mystery because we don't know who he fancied, who he didn't fancy. So everything that came out at was 11:30, wasn't it? When the team come out was going to be a little bit of a surprise. Obviously, we didn't know the situation with the injuries, and so I mean, overall, I wasn't too disappointed with the line. I expected Nolan to be involved. I expected Little. There's no real shocks in there, to be honest.
But then, Warren, I think the biggest shock for me was Jack Nolan playing on the left wing back. But we've had the conversation earlier on in the day where I was like, I'm struggling to figure out how it was actually working because it seems like it started off a bit different to what that lineup is, but then it kind of sat into that lineup. And then with 20 minutes to go, it kind of changed from Nolan to Hutton to the other side. And it looked fluid because I think Asher was kind of like drifting everywhere. And that's probably what made it a little bit more difficult to put your finger on, Warren, mate.
Yeah, so I thought I've got a big one was playing in behind Nevitt and Clark. I thought Clark and Nevitt played up front, personally. I thought Agbinon played in the 10 role.
Yeah.
And then that should have allowed Hutton and Nolan to get further forward into midfield. Unfortunately, Nolan and Hutton didn't really get that far forward after the first 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I think McCann made a slight change when he pulled all his players together when the player feigned injury, and he changed his shape a little bit. I was quite disappointed, really, because I'd like to have seen when the team was announced, I thought it would be Hutton, McKenzie, Aimer, Ogie at the back, Little Coleman, Nolan and Agbinon on wide, and Clark and Nevitt up front in a 4-4-2, but it didn't pan out like that. And I'd have really liked to have seen the 4-4-2 with those players in those positions. I don't think Coleman's seen Nolan and Hutton working well together on the right hand side, so didn't want to play that way. And to me, the young lad from Palace, he didn't have enough physicality, or he hasn't got enough physicality, or he's got used to this division yet to play in that 10 role. We saw his skills. We saw the fact that he wants to take players on. I'd have liked to have seen that in a wide area, trying to feed forwards from a wider area than from down the middle. Because I think he just got bogged down a bit. And I think there's a few times that he got just muscled off the ball. But if he'd have had a go at either the left or right back at Doncaster, I think he would have made more of a contribution than what he did.
Yeah. So Dom, we will go over you, mate. I think it was a weird setup, but the bloke I was sitting next to, he was like, it looks a bit fluid. It looks a bit more like everyone's switching around, doing different things. And for the first 30 minutes, it worked, didn't it, mate?
Yeah, it did. The first 30 minutes were probably the best we played in a good few months, to be fair. I'm like Warren and Stu. I was a bit disappointed in the formation, but as Stu alluded to, was this actually the team and up until Friday? I don't know. Yeah. With the injury to Andrews and Wiley, we don't know. I just want to see two up front. I don't care who goes up there alongside him. The one isn't working. It hasn't worked for months. But I just think where the injuries have affected us so much, we just haven't got a set system, and whatever we're trying to do just still isn't working. Hopefully Coleman can find a way between now and the end of the window, try and get maybe a couple more bodies in and just try and work out something, because we can't keep, 1 week being 3 at the back, 1 week being 5 at the back, then the 4 at the back, but still persisting with the 1 up front, because we could just continue to have the same issues.
Yeah, we definitely need some consistency somewhere. And okay, if you play the same lineup and then we don't work out for 2 or 3 weeks, then fine. But then if on the 4th week we then see something happening, then fine. I mean, we had this problem, didn't we, under Bonner, with the case of he was chopping and changing not only formations but personnel. And I think against Bromley, we all looked at that lineup and we were just like, what the fuck is he doing? So it was kind of like pin the tail on the donkey in that respect. And they all were donkeys against Bromley. So we move on to the Donny Rovers Facts. And the club was founded in 1879 and turned professional 6 years later. They entered the Midlands League in 1891 and were elected to the Football League in 1901. Their record win came in a form of a 10-0 win against Darlington in 1964. So we will move on to the actual game itself now, and we will bring in our friend from the Rambling Rovers, Mr. Danny. So how are we, mate? All right?
Yeah, sound fellas. You're all good.
Yeah,
Danny.
Evening, Danny.
So yeah, Danny, we will just ask you, mate, like your thoughts on the game itself, how you thought that we played and how you thought that, well, yourselves played as well.
Start off, it weren't the prettiest of games to watch, no doubt, it's a long drive from here for a 12:30 kickoff. Obviously, I didn't go. I've seen enough 5 o'clock in the morning through week, and I weren't staying up at that time to a football game. So I watched it here on Sky. But, the game itself, I thought yours started really bright in that first half hour of the game, simply because I don't think anybody knew the formation your guys will be playing, with it being Coleman's first game, or the system you'll be playing. And I think that's why it took us half an hour to adapt to your guys and to basically stop you from playing, kind of, because in that first half an hour, you were peppering our goal a bit. You were pressing pretty high up. You were, like you said, young lad here said that your guys best you played in a while, and I could see it because you had that bit of oomph about you. Whether that's obviously through the youth management of Coleman, but from that half hour on, I've got to say I think we just shaded it. Maybe we only scored our goal through Armani Little's mistake in Millett Park, which let Molyneux in for a 1-on-1. And when Molyneux's in that position, there's only one way. It's going to be back of your goal, I'm afraid. And it was a good finish as well, chip over your keeper. So, but then we could have made it 2. Billy Sharp with our chance also, would have put me house on him to score, but he ended up blasting it over into that temporary stand of yours, which has been a temporary stand for about 30 years. But other than that, I think, like I said, second half, I think we just shaded it. I think, like I said, I think we just stopped it from playing. Button, like you said, right back for your guys, not very good. Like I said, he was pretty poor overall. But other than that, that young lad who you got from Palace, I don't know when you signed him. Was it just this week? Well, last week, I mean, before the game. Yeah, you could tell because there were little bits where he could have passed it instead of carrying on running. If he passed it, it would have opened up a chance a bit more. But, Well, that's his first game for your guys, so he'll come. On Coleman as well. Again, he's only with you to end the season, and I forgot which one of you said about signing players. It's going to be hard because they don't know who the manager is going to be beyond this, by end of season. Whether it is going to be Coleman or whether it's going to be somebody else, and that's a bit worrying. Obviously, your guys need a bit of clarity, to clarify that, because going forward, it's not a good situation to be in, to not know it. But, like I said, it's a bit tough. You're onto your third manager in a season in a bit, it's not good changing managers all the time. You got to think every time a manager comes in, they've got to rip up the previous manager's work and start again. It's going back to square one every time. But
yeah, it kind of is, and Stu, I kind of agree with what Danny's saying in the respect, like with us, we can't keep sitting on this sucker manager in 6 months.
It's the easy way out. It's the easy way out, I'm afraid, because we could have done that with McCann last season when we started so poor. And at this point last season, we were 22nd, I think, in league. And then we went on that amazing run. But we stuck by McCann, and we're seeing the rewards of that now. But yeah, obviously you guys know more about your club than what I do, obviously.
Yeah, no, of course, mate, of course. And Stu, I'll start with you on this one, and we will keep you on, Danny, for this segment. What do you think about that, mate? Because I think that we, as Danny rightly says, we've had 3 managers now in the space of 18 months. How do you feel about that? And do you think that we've either got the wrong manager or we're just too gung-ho with it?
Well, don't want to repeat myself, but didn't want to change in the summer for a start. As you know, I wanted to keep Clements.
I wonder who that was.
Yeah. But, Clement, I hate having to go over old ground, but, we all goes back to the same thing as a year ago in January, where Clements was given Josh Andrews injured and Josh Walker, a winger from Burton Albion, to solve our goal-scoring crisis. That's what Clements was given. And then at the end of the season, people are moaning that we're mid-table. Well, of course we're mid-table, so we can't score for toffee. We bring Bonner in. Bonner's got a flimsy CV. He's got promoted with Cambridge based on, a couple of good players. When they went into League One, I think, did he lose 11, 12, 13 in a row or something like that? And, he comes in with all the bells and whistles. We're told, this is the season, we're going places. We have a couple, good starts to the season with some nice results. And as we all know, a few of those performances were very glossy. We get into October and Jesus Christ, the wheels come off. And then you get to Bromley where it's completely and utterly untenable. Ridiculous. He should have gone after the Swindon game. Swindon away, they are down to 10 men after less than 10 minutes.
And we still fucked it up.
We score a goal, and what are the instructions coming from the side? Oh, let's just hang on to a 1-0. We should have killed. That should have been 3-0 at half time. Job done.
Yeah.
Tactically, absolutely clueless. And towards the end, the substitutions, the formations, the starting lineup was just put a pin in the board. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
Absolute disastrous reign. Honestly, terrible.
Yeah.
So I understand what Danny says, sticking with McCann, but trust me, if you'd have had the Bonner brand,
I know what he's saying, because when we had obviously like Danny Schofield, manager of us before we got McCann, I would have. Yeah, I would want to sack Schofield because he was absolutely terrible as a manager. So
And the thing is, Bonner had 3 months before the start of the season to get his house in order. So you know.
Yeah, he did. He did. To be fair, he did. To be fair, it wasn't a case of he came in halfway through the season, though, was it, Warren? And I don't like to blame the manager, but you kind of there's nothing that you can do to really defend him there, mate, is there?
No, he should have had everything should have been in place for the start of the season. We should have been on our way up. Something happened after that Barrow game, I'm sure of it, in the dressing room. And then his relationship with the players seemed to change. The players' attitudes seemed to change. And it just all went wrong. And I hate to say it, this is my least likeable bunch of players since I've been supporting Gillingham, and I've been going 50 years. But it's the least likeable bunch of players that we've ever had. I just think that the recruitment, whatever way we're doing recruitment, whether with Bonner, with Coleman, with Hessenthaler, with analytics, whatever, it's not working.
Yeah.
And that should have been addressed a year ago.
Yeah.
That it wasn't working. Because all we seem to be doing is signing individual players, right? Based on their stats, not what they're like within a team environment, what are they like in the dressing room, what are they like outside of football. Are they committed? Are they not committed? Do they have other issues going on outside of football? Are they injury prone? We just tend to look at these stats, sign a player. I mean, people like Johnny Williams, George Lapsley, Hutton, Nevitt, they're all based on individual performances over a year. I mean, Johnny Williams is a bit longer, but I just don't see how. I think at the start of the season, I think we had 4 or 5 number 10s in the squad.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, we did.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
You can't play all of them.
No, you can't. You can't play all of them, and that's quite a poignant point, actually, Dom. So yeah, we did have we had George Lapsley, we had
Williams, Dak.
I mean, Dak, and I want to apologise to Danny at the moment because on Friday I said that Dak had grown his stupid hair out, but apparently he hasn't, and he's now bleached it even more. So I'll apologise for that. But yeah, Dom, I think Warren's got a point there, really.
No, he has. I do agree with Stu about the summer. I was reluctant in getting rid of Clements just for the sake of changing something again. Then we've done exactly the same thing 6 months later. But for me, I've bashed on about it. We've had pretty much a similar spine of players for the last 3 years, and we've just got worse.
Yeah.
We have. It's not, I know managers come and go. You can't sack the players, so the managers are obviously going to end up going. But the core of the players hasn't changed, and we're still providing the exact same results, if not worse at the moment. And touching on Warren's point about recruitment, the thing that absolutely baffles me is that we've had Kenny Jackett here, who's won promotions at this level. Hessenthaler managed probably one of our best ever teams of core players, like having relationships and that. They're behind the scenes trying to do business, and they've just signed complete polar opposites of what we need to get out of this league. And I just don't understand it. So is it them being told on what they need to look for, or is it them telling, like the owners like Ballinson, Comper, etc., oh yeah, this player, but you like this player? So who is actually making the final decision? Because John Coleman will know what kind of player he wants. He knows what kind of character he wants.
We are told that the manager makes the, gets the final say. I can't.
We're told a lot of things.
Yeah, but John Coleman is not going to be given a player. No way is he going to put up with anything like that. He's old school. He's going to, if he don't fancy someone, they're going to, I think the girl from Rochdale came on and said the thing about Coleman, very, very stubborn. Yeah, and I think we'll see that. And John Coleman is exactly what this football club needs now, 100%.
Thing is, you've had 3 managers with the same set of players. So you got to think these set of players are playing 3 different types of systems. You've gone from a Clements to a Bonner, and now you've got Coleman. And like you said, Coleman is very old school. You know, like you said, I expected Coleman to play a 4-4-2 against us because old school kind of like, you know, back solid four and, you know, for midfield and two up top. You know, proper old school manager is Coleman. But like you said, you're asking this set of players what your guys have got to play. It's the same group what you've had with Clements. So now they've had Clements, Bonner, and now they've got Coleman. You're all asking them to play 3 different systems. And how are you going to expect a successful system asking a set of players to do that? Because it's just going to be, yeah.
Well, you know, Coleman's going to need, you know, at least half a dozen games to get anywhere, really. And I think it's quite good in the way that the next 2 are both away, aren't they? It's Tranmere and Grimsby.
No. We've got Tranmere and then we've got Notts County at home.
I think it's Grimsby between that, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, it's
Grimsby between.
Yeah. Come on, Kris, keep up, mate.
Sorry.
No, but I think the 2 away games is going to be beneficial because you can see at the weekend. I don't think the players are enjoying playing at home at the moment, especially when they're getting booed off at half time and, you know, after that.
But they deserve it though.
Not at half time.
No, not half time.
Not a full time. I don't think they deserve to be booed off. But at the end of the day, you know, say that Dan is here. I think we have to accept that Doncaster are one of the better sides in the division. You know, it's never going to be a stroll in the park. I think if that game finishes a draw, I think that's probably fair. I think they've been a bit fortunate winning it because we battered them for half an hour. But you wouldn't expect Billy Sharp to miss a sitter like that. So, you know, we've been fortunate there. But I don't certainly for half an hour, we've got to say half an hour on Saturday, we were very good. Now, when's the last time under Bonner for half an hour we were any good? The last half hour we were any good under Bonner was on that Sunday when he picked up his P45 and he drove up the A2.
I just think we sussed you out after that half an hour. You know, after that half an hour, we just sussed out. Yeah.
Well, I think what happened, to be fair, Danny, your goalie tripped over an ant. He fell down on his leg, didn't he?
That's it. You know, it's the dirty arts, isn't it, of football? You know, that's how it is. You know,
Lowe was actually put in the League 2 Team of the Week or League.
He actually.
And you know,
to be fair, he made that save from your defender when second half, which was a good save, to be fair with you. But bit of a fact for you actually about Saturday. It was our first ever league double of your guys.
Really?
Yeah.
And both of them were 1-0.
Yeah.
Normally, Doncaster at home is a definite win for Gillingham.
Yeah, and
it's only the last 2 seasons that I've ever seen them win here.
Yeah, I've seen us win there before as well. Yeah. I was wondering, Danny, while you're on, I must ask you, your old chairman who burnt down the stand at your old ground, have you found him yet or not?
He's 6 feet under.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah.
Was he still in the stand when he burnt it down?
No, he kind of, it's before my time, obviously, right. You know, but he kind of took over Scarborough and ruined them and all the rest of it. But he got done, didn't he, for horse fixing, horse race fixing, and he was just a bit of a dodgy bloke, really. But he nearly destroyed us as a club until John Ryan took us over, and then rest is history, really. So
brilliant.
But there's no here anymore. Yeah.
It's brilliant. Thanks for coming on, Danny. We will.
As always,
we're going to move on to our man of the matches of us.
Well,
now,
good luck.
Take care.
Cheers.
Friday, and it was brilliant, mate. So thank you again, and you're always welcome when we play you guys. If we play you guys again,
same.
So cheers, mate. Take care.
Yeah, same to you guys. See ya.
Take care, mate. So, boys, we will then move on to our man of the matches if we do we have anything to say about Saturday other than it was shit after 30 minutes?
No.
No. Stuart?
I think some of the stuff I read on Saturday night, absolute garbage. Yeah, all right. You know, we were good for 30 minutes.
Do you know the biggest?
Yeah, go on, Warren.
Do you know the biggest positive for me on Saturday? And that was right before the kickoff when they put the last waltz on and the Rainiman was belting out the last waltz. Jimmy Bell stood on the sideline and took in every second of that. And I think he looked at it and thought, I've never had this before at any ground, right? I've never, and it just looked like he was just taking it in and thinking to himself, I want to do well here.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that just watching that, the Rainiman singing the last waltz and how loud it was, and he took it all in, I just think it gave him some sort of vision into his future where he wants to be.
Yeah, 100%. I think the thing is, Chris, in a way, whilst no one likes to lose a match, at least Coleman and Jimmy Bell have seen the work they got to do.
Yeah. And
what could have easily happened on Saturday? We could have gone out and maybe won that game 2-1, and everyone's thinking, HMS pissed the leagues back running on the Medway again. All this sort of nonsense. We've had it all before. This, that, and the other. But the thing is, Coleman now has seen it, and he's thinking, I have got some work to do here. And I think that might be a blessing in disguise.
He'd have learned more in that 90 minutes than he did the 2 weeks of training, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, good question for you, right? If John Coleman had have had the money, right, and started off when the Gallisons took over, and bearing in mind the amount of money the Gallisons spent on some of these players, right? Do you think if John Coleman had come in when the Gallisons were here, right, that with the money in the budget, he would have got us promoted by now?
I think that's a fair shout, definitely. Yeah,
it's not beyond the realms of possibility.
Yeah,
I think it's a possibility. Depends on the recruitment, though, doesn't it? And I'm going to bang that drum, and I'm going to keep banging that drum because I think it's been absolutely fucking woeful. But anyway, boys, if we've got nothing else to talk about that woeful performance other than the first 30 minutes, we will move on to our man of the matches, and we will start with Warren because he's the odd one out.
I always like to be different. I gave it a Max. He didn't do anything wrong.
No.
Saturday, right? The one goal we gave away was down to a mistake from Amani. Apart from that, I thought we looked pretty sound at the back.
Yeah.
We all know where Max Hamer is in his career. He's probably at the end of his time with Gillingham. He's probably nearing the end of his career. He's probably... Is there better out there than Max Hamer? Probably. Right? But I don't think anyone can fault his effort on Saturday, personally. Right? Whether anyone thinks he should be captain or whatever is neither here nor there. But I gave it to him because Max has taken a lot of stick over the last few months. And although some of it may have been warranted, I don't think some of it was. And so I gave him man of the match just for that.
Yeah,
I didn't think he did anything wrong. Asher came in and showed glimpses, but it wouldn't have even been second for me. Ethan Coleman would have been second.
It's kind of thing though, Dominic, where you've got a 19-year-old that's come into the squad, literally been with us for 2 weeks, and I think I'm not gonna copy anyone's stuff, but Matt at Jules in the Blood said it last night when he did his real hard-hitting thing, and I found that absolutely brilliant personally. But it's another thing when you've got a 19-year-old that's just come into the squad, is our best player.
Well, I think it's purely because the fact that he actually done some things that players that we've brought in to do those things haven't done all season. And it's a bit like into the eye, it's like, wow, Why isn't everyone else doing that? Why isn't no one else running at players? Why is no one else taking people on? I think he looked all right. I wouldn't say like he was like amazing 10 out of 10, but he looked for a first game in like proper men's football, like first like near a full game. He put himself about, had some good moments, and he'll only learn by playing, as Stu alluded to earlier. And I think he will be a good signing. What I would say about him as well, what I did like is that when we went 1-0 down, he took the kick off, and he was one of the very few that turned around and started goading people on to try and get back in the game. And we haven't seen that a lot this season from a lot of, especially senior players doing that. And that's what I quite like that about him. But as Warren said earlier, I would like to see him out on the left or the right more than the 10 role, where I think he'll be a bit more effective. But for a third performance, I think he put himself about and done well enough.
Yeah, he definitely did for me as well. Like, I think that when he came in from the right, then shimmied over to the left and put their player on his arse. And I was just like, fuck it. And then obviously the shot was terrible, but
at least he's shooting.
It was something he was doing. He was doing something. He was trying to get the ball forward. And you know what? And people have said to me, oh, he should have passed it off. Passed it to where? Like, passed it to where? There's nowhere in that team at the moment for me that he could have passed it to because they're all fucking shit. Stuart.
Yes. What I saw really with Asher, he kind of like a 75% Hurtado, a little bit in a way, with a bit of flair, and he wanted the ball. If you watched him, he was always wanting the ball. Yeah. Moving forward, like we said earlier, he's going to have to adapt because some big ugly, what's going to be hammering him. So you've got to get used to that, but. He's definitely a good addition. I was really impressed with him actually, and you need a bit of flair. You do need someone to light the place up a little bit because obviously under Bonner we're so dull. We set up every game not to lose, but we do lose anyway. Nothing. So I think this is a good addition. He's done well.
Yeah, and I do think that he was definitely a bright spark within the team. I can't see that he really did anything wrong, and it kind of made me laugh though. I think it was after like the first 5 or 10 minutes where he got snapped by someone, and I was like, "Please get up," because otherwise it's going to play into Warren's hands of what he said last week when he was like, "The minute he gets snapped by a player, he's going to be injured," and I was just like, "Please get up, please get up." I was just like, please just get up, but. Boys, we will just move quickly on to what we got. We'll go on to quick Warren's favourite thing.
Winger called Asher on the left hand side. Winger called Asher on the right hand side. Winger called Asher on the left hand side. Winger called Asher on the right hand side. Gillingham need to score more goals than 0. Gillingham need to score some. Gillingham need to score more goals than 0. Gillingham need to score some. Gillingham need to score more goals than 0. Gillingham need to score some. Gillingham need to score more goals than 0. Gillingham need to score this game. We're scoring 5.
So we will just look at the league table, I guess. It looks a little bit rubbish. It looked better when I actually downloaded it, but look at that though, boys. Like 16th in the league and 10 points off of relegation now. I think it's quite telling, really, and I think we're trying to make it up and sugarcoat shit, but we can see that we are clearly not where we need to be. We need to get out of this league, but maybe it's not going to be at the right end. So, Warren.
Yeah, if you look at our 2 games in end, they're both hard away games, Chesterfield and Walsall away. They'll bring us up to 26 with lots of Crewe and Port Vale. We ain't going to win them. I don't think we'll get relegated. I don't think we're as bad as Morecambe and Carlisle. I don't think we'll be anywhere near. But if things don't start happening soon, then we could be drawn near the close and the old bums could start going come the end of the season. I think the games at Barrow and Carlisle are important. We've got to at least win one of those two. Our home form at the moment is just so poor. You look at the games that we've lost to at home, or teams that we've lost to at home. Two of them are below us, Harrogate and Accrington. Should have beaten Swindon at their place. I just don't see us finishing any higher than where we are now, to be honest.
No, and do you know what? It's okay to sugarcoat shit, as we said earlier, but I think that if we lose 2 of the next 3 games, we're in real trouble, mate. What are your thoughts on that?
It's the battle of the shitters on Saturday, isn't it? Because Tranmere aren't doing as much better than we are at the moment. We've got to go there on Saturday and win. I think it could really be catastrophic if we did lose. Really catastrophic, because they're in an awful run of form as well themselves. Hopefully we just don't do a typical Gillingham and go and lose 1-0 or something. Like
never win now. We never win at Tranmere.
And we've got to win. But overall this season, I said it to a few of our mates when we appointed Coleman. This is nothing against him. If you look at the team that comes 7th, 9 times out of 10, they finish on around 70 points. This year it probably will be lower because the points tally is so condensed together. But we're relying on and hoping that he's going to win more than half of his games to get us in the playoffs. It's not happening. Forget it. It ain't happening. We can have anyone telling us at the club, oh, yeah, it's still possible. No. Have a reality check. Look what's around us. Look where we are. And literally just get back to basics and just try and win a game of football. Stop worrying about the playoffs because it ain't happening. Just focus on what the next game is and the game after that. Worrying about what Salford are doing in 7th at the moment is absolutely pointless.
Yeah.
It ain't achievable. And as much as you want to be positive and you want to look up, that's fine. But there needs to be a sense of reality and it needs to hit sooner rather than later because otherwise we will get further and further closer to that bottom 2. And if we do end up being really close down the bottom, the last few games, especially of how fans are feeling towards the players, etc., the whole feel around the club, it could turn really, really toxic, and we could be in a worse position than we're under Neil Harris after we got taken over.
It's kind of funny, Stu, isn't it, that it's taking fans to speak sense where, everyone higher up has got bells and whistles and saying, yeah, we've got a really talented squad. But
talent only works if they work.
Huh?
Talent only works if they work.
Well, yeah. They're playing for 90% of them are playing for the name on the back. They're not playing for the name, for the crest on the shirt. So, yeah, Stu, I think it's quite telling when us as fans are making more sense than what the club are, really, mate.
Well, perhaps we should all be on the board. I just want to pick up with Warren because he said we never win at Tranmere, and I'm sure he was there. Just before Christmas 2005, we were 2-0 down in 5 minutes, and by half time we were in 3-2. Do you remember it?
Yeah, I remember it. I think it's the only time I've seen us win now. Yeah.
So we are capable of a comeback, even though it's almost 20 years ago. And even more telling was Gary Mulligan got a couple that day. So, there you go.
You get up front now.
Yeah. I think we'll win Saturday. I'm confident we'll win. Main reason is that John Coleman has not got to face a language barrier, being a Scouser. So that's going to be an advantage. But really, what's important now is what we do this week in respect to bringing in a striker. If we don't want to be looking over our shoulder, like I said earlier in the week, our main 5 strikers between them have got 2 goals. I mean, that is an absolute joke.
Yeah.
So you only win games by scoring goals. Keep people saying, "Oh, we need centre mid, we need left back, all this and that." Forget all that. We are where we are. Let's just get a striker in the building, one that is a proven goal scorer and knows where the back of the net is, and that's going to be the difference. I don't think we'll go down. If you look at this league is a bit of a Mickey Mouse league, really. Very odd results crop up here and there, and I think we'd be fine. In all honesty, I'm not. Carlisle and Morecambe, they're garbage.
Yeah, but then I don't know. Like you say, it's a Mickey Mouse league, but we could lose more than we win, and there's 60 odd points to play for.
Yeah, I can't see it. I can't see it. Coleman
I can't see us going, but we could be down.
It could be, but I'm confident that Coleman,
Yeah. I'm not overly worried just yet. There's, there is a lot of football to be played, but at the same time,
give it 10.
Yeah.
From the manager's point of view, he's on a short-term contract to the end of the season. There's no way he's going to want to pack his bags at the end. He's going to want to. He's going to want to do well, and he's going to want to stay on, isn't he?
Yeah. I think so. I mean, we're just quickly moving on to Phil's thoughts. I like Phil's thoughts. They're always good. Pretty much says.
That was a disappointing start to John Coleman's reign as manager of Gillingham. We started brightly. We had some really good play. Asher looks like making a real impact on the team. And then it all went to pieces. We let that goal in and we just couldn't get our way back into it. Once again, we couldn't score. And it's just the same old. Fingers crossed John Coleman can turn it around and next week we'll see that win.
So we are at the point, Warren, where you can take the floor. We will go on to your quiz.
Right. Okay, guys, are we ready? Are you all aware of your forfeit?
Our ABCs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that. Some tin of spam or something.
Yeah, tin of spam and an impression of John Coleman, Stuart.
Hey.
Exactly,
right,
mate. I think you'd be good at it.
Okay.
Dom, I know being an England fan, will absolutely hate trying to do the Mexican wave.
Yeah.
And Kris, your singing was that rubbish, right?
He wants to hear it
You're
again.
going to see if you can dance.
What are you talking about? My singing was not rubbish.
I had the last waltz with you,
Exactly.
two lonely people together. I fell in love with you. The last waltz will last forever. It's all over now. Nothing left to say. Just the jills and the rain and men singing. La 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 the jills.
So, Warren, anyway, you were talking.
Yeah, so you will see if you can dance better than you can sing with Tammy Trueblue. We're hoping for you to arrange that. So if one of you, and it only needs to be one of you, gets all five, then I will take all the forfeits on. Okay, so there's something in there for me as well. Right.
So you're going to do the Mexican,
Try and do the Mexican wave from the Medway stand. I'll do the spam and the John Coleman impression, and I'll do the dance with Tammy Trueblue if one of you get 5 out of 5.
The problem is, Warren, if you do the Mexican wave with a spam on your head, that might be a tricky one.
Yeah, it might do, but it is what it is.
Okay.
So I'm going to start with the first question. You'll need your pen and paper ready. It's a who am I? I know I'm Warren, but it's a who am I question. I'm going to give you 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think it's 9 clues. Okay. At the end of the 9th clue, you've got 8 seconds to write down your answer. Okay. So who am I? I was born on the 25th of September, 1998. I am 5 foot 11 inches tall. I've played for 2 football league clubs. I've made 178 first team appearances. I have 12 goals. I have 6 assists. I have 12 yellow cards. I've never been sent off. And I am currently in the Gillingham first team squad. 8 seconds. Answers, please, guys.
Hold on.
Go.
I've said Armani Little.
Yeah, I've gone Little.
Who you gone, Kris? Nevitt. No. You was all wrong. So I haven't got to do any forfeits.
Why
Thank you very
why
much.
did I say 6 goals and he scored 16 goals last season? What a dickhead.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
It was Robbie McKenzie.
Ah, of course.
We were close, Stu.
So we've started the quiz and you've got 0 points. And that's the easiest question out of a lot of them, in my opinion. Okay, so we go on to our second question.
Is
We're
it
talking
the
about
ABC
last
now?
season.
Is this the
Last
ABC?
season.
Is this the
23
ABC? or not?
Pardon?
Is this the ABC?
No, yeah, this is the ABC now.
Right.
Right. So in the 23-24 season, who was our highest home league attendance against? Was it A, Wrexham, B, Crawley, or C, Doncaster? It was C, Doncaster.
Christ, I didn't even go to that game.
Oh, I did, because I didn't go home till 2 o'clock in the morning.
There was 8,693 for Wrexham game, 7,150 for the Boxing Day game against Crawley, and 8,723 against Doncaster.
Oh,
They got quite a fair few, didn't they? Okay.
Doing well.
Right, so season 22-23. The squad numbers were announced, okay, in the July. What number was Alcon Baggott given? Was it A, 14, B, 23, or C, 24? Dom, you're the only one with a right answer so far with 23.
You're as
Well
good as
done,
me,
Dom.
Chris.
I know. I told you I'm shit at these things.
Yeah, you're consistent, Chris. Your consistency shines through.
My consistency is better than the team, so there we go.
Okay. On the 15th of January 2022, Gillingham lost at home to Burton Albion. What was the score? Was it A, Gills 0, Burton 2, B, Gills 1, Burton 2, or C, Gills 1, Burton 3? Dom again gets another one correct. So Dom looks like he's going to be Mr. Gillingham. And this is a playoff question between Stu and Chris as to who's going to be doing the forfeit, I'm afraid. So if one of you gets it right, okay, then you don't do the forfeit. Okay. So the last question. Between 2009 and 2015, Max Hamer played for QPR. How many first team appearances did Max make? Was it A1, B2, or C3? A1. Okay. So the winner of the quiz and Mr. Gillingham for a week is Dom Ballard. Well done, Dom.
Cheers, thank you.
Congratulations. Stu and Chris, unfortunately, you failed to trouble the scorer. So,
like our front line.
So, Dom, you haven't got to play in this one. This is a tiebreaker question to see who does the forfeit. If you both fail to get the answer correct, you both do it. And if you both get the answer correct, you both do it. Because I haven't got any other tiebreaker questions. Okay? So, the tiebreaking question was, who was my first away game against in 1973?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Was it A, Cambridge, B, Southend, or C, Colchester?
Can I answer it? So I think I know.
Stu, you are in second place this week. Chris,
No!
you'll be singing. and dancing for the second week running. It was Cambridge away, FA Cup 1973. And if you want to hear any more about it, I'm on the Shouting Men podcast tomorrow night that comes out at 6 p.m. Thank you very much, gents. Thanks for your participation.
Oh, for God's sake. Oh, massively disappointed again.
I never liked spam anyway. So
I thought that when he went, Stu, you have not. I was going, yeah. Oh, for fuck's sake. Right. So, anyway, boys, we will have a look ahead to Tranmere. We've both got similar records, really. Terrible, isn't it? Drawn, lost. So, me and Dom did speak about this on the way to the game on Saturday, and he's not going. So, Stu, Warren, you going?
I've not decided. I might do. I might go. I'm
working.
Right.
I've got to work a late shift.
What were our thoughts on it, though? I'll start with you, Dom.
Just we've got to go there and hopefully win. I think what Stu said earlier about maybe playing away under Coleman's first game, it might suit us a little bit better. There's probably not that much pressure away, but it's a massive game for both teams. Both are under pressure, but hopefully we can go there and get a result, even like just a shitty 1-0. And I know that's we've been accustomed to that the last 3 or 4 seasons, but we would all take that come 5 o'clock on Saturday evening. I'd hopefully like to see a little change in the team. Hopefully we get this striker through the door this week, and we can hopefully have a little change of the system. But we've got to go there and be looking to win. And if we do lose, there's a big then pressure coming up, especially with the games we've got coming up. We've got Grimsby Tuesday, not Saturday. I think we've got Walsall coming up as well in a couple of weeks. We've got quite a tough running, so we need to get that win sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Stu?
Yeah, I said it at the start. I think we'll win. I think there'll be goals. I think we'll be all right. I think we're probably 2-1. I think it'll be 2-1.
And Warren?
I think we'll lose 2-0. It's not a place we historically do well at.
We didn't last season. I think we lost 3-1 last season, didn't we?
Yeah, I just think that the players won't change their spots overnight. I can't see any major improvement happening. It's going to be cold. It's going to be wet or snowy, windy if the game's played. And to be honest, our players don't fancy it in the heat. So I just can't see us winning now. Sorry.
In the heat. All right. So just before we go, boys, obviously my best friend is a singer. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but he's my best mate, so I'm going to promote him. So if you haven't already, his name's Mark Wayne. He's on YouTube. I've put it on the YouTube with the link to it. But little bit. I'm wishing you'd stay for longer in this daydream.
Oh, you're all I want, leaving everything behind. I'm dreaming, always on my mind, so I'm saying just so you know, never gonna let you go.
Right, so yeah, we will quickly move on. And as you already know, everyone that's watching, we are in partnership with the Gillingham FC Supporters Club. So if you need to get them, there they are. The QR codes are there. You can even go onto the website as well. We will quickly finish with our own. If you want to follow us on the Facebook group, then you can. Exit TVFTM and the View from the Medway Fancast. The View from the Medway Fancast on YouTube. And if you want to send us in videos of your disagreement and how shit we are, then you can also get us on the WhatsApp number. So, yeah, I've been Kris. He's been Stu. He's been Warren. He's been Dom. Good night and up the jewels.
See you later, guys.